Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Henry Galliett, and this is the third episode of Bring On the Geekdom, coming to you live today on this beautiful Sunday. I have another member that's joining us today, and that member is Trevor. How you doing, Trevor?
Doing great. How are you?
Doing great, man. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm a double as a filmmaker and also a journalist. I write for a couple websites, including Screen Rant and MovieWeb. And I also make a couple short films on the side, one of which just got nominated for an Eclipse Award. So
Awesome. We got a celebrity here. I thought you would think you were too good for us, but man, I'm really happy you're here, man.
thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Awesome, man. We also have Movie Man here, like my faithful companion and my friend alongside Movie Man. How are we doing today?
I'm chilling. I'm just watching like the Fantastic Beasts movie. I'm just chilling.
Oh yeah, which one? The first one or the second one? I like the first one, but the second one was kind of eh. It wasn't like awful, but you know.
The second, kind of having a Harry Potter marathon.
Oh, cool, man. Cheer about the Endgame like 2-day marathon. Like, I love Marvel.
I've heard.
Yeah,
I think I could do it.
What, you could?
Maybe.
No,
I wanted to, but my theater doesn't have it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, I love Marvel, but I gotta draw the line somewhere. And like that theater's gonna be like smell like shit. Like the moment people like go into that theater after it's done, it's gonna be like just awful. Anyway, whatever. You guys ready to get into the news?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, so we're gonna start out with the Joker trailer. Did you guys see it?
I did.
Yes, I did.
All right, what did you guys think of it? I'll pass it off to you, Movie Man.
I will admit, I was very, very surprised by it. I didn't know what to think watching it because I was very skeptical about this movie. The Joker is like my favorite villain of all time from DC Batman lore, and I was kind of worried they were going to ruin the whole mystery behind it, because I always loved how some of the best things tend to stay a mystery, like the mystery of the xenomorphs or the mystery of how Anakin became Skywalker, Darth Vader. Like, you know, I love a good mystery. And when they do the whole reveal, it might work, it might not. And I was worried it wasn't going to work for this movie. But I will admit, watching this trailer, it has me interested. And Joaquin Phoenix looks pretty good. Good as the Joker.
Yeah. Trevor, do you got anything to say?
Well, I've always been kind of optimistic about it because it obviously has a great cast and it's got Todd Phillips, who is a pretty good track record. I was hoping for a little bit more out of the trailer, but it's the first trailer, so that's fine. I really liked like the structure of the trailer and the acting. Joaquin Phoenix has lost so much weight for that role. It's a little concerning, actually, but I liked it. It had a lot of just Joaquin Phoenix running, but I'm definitely staying optimistic for the entire project.
Cool. My opinions on it is that I really enjoyed the trailer. I thought it sort of had that like Logan / Dark Knight / like Batman v Superman vibe, where it sort of feels like an independent filmmaker making a big blockbuster movie, which I think we should get more of these days. And I think, you know, sorry, what the heck's DC? DC's track record has been doing pretty good, and you know they may have been a little bit formulaic with some of their films. Like I thought Aquaman was just okay. I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that in the comments, but I'll talk about Shazam later. But I really think they're on a pretty good track record right now, and I thought this trailer. Sorry about that. Anyway, that trailer I thought knocked it out of the park, so I'm looking forward to it. And I think Joaquin Phoenix is a great actor. Have you guys seen this other film, Her, by any chance? It was like 2013 film.
I haven't.
Oh, yeah, no worries. I absolutely love that film. It's very like very personal, and I think he does a great job, especially with Scarlett Johansson playing the computer. Yeah, it was a good film. Anyway, any more thoughts on it, or think we're ready to move on to the next one?
No, I think that's about it.
All right. Next one, the Endgame trailer / ticket debacle. So a new trailer came out for it a couple of days ago. Probably a week ago now. The trailer looks awesome. It gives us more of like what the film's gonna be about, not just like that. And I like the other trailers, but I feel like it's not that like bullshit black, white, and red thing. I mean, it's fine, but it doesn't really give us an idea of it. This trailer does, and so I liked it. And also, the tickets are on sale, and I'm telling you this from experience. It's a kind of a pain in the ass to like get the tickets because like all of these like douchebags are like buying like 20 tickets and selling them on eBay, which is like bullshit to me. So, what are your guys' thoughts on the trailer and the ticket debacle thing? Trevor, you want to start?
Yeah. I didn't have too hard of a time with the tickets. Like, I used the AMC app just because I have their membership, and I just kind of kept reloading it. I don't live in, I mean, I live in a big city, but it's nothing like New York or LA, so I was able to actually book tickets for opening night, just like the 6:15. But the trailer, I was definitely excited by the trailer, and I was so excited that I actually became disappointed because I liked how the rest of the trailers didn't show them really doing much, and it kept the mystery because it was all just from the first 15 minutes of the movie. This one, I don't know, it feels like each trailer is just like picking it up like 10 minutes at a time. So this one's actually showing some girth of the story, showing not only that Tony and Nebula get back, but then they use the new Guardian ship to go to Thanos on whatever planet, and I was kind of hoping for that to be a surprise in the movie. I mean, it didn't spoil too much, but just the way that they've been doing their marketing so far has just been very vague, and I was hoping that this trailer would be just as vague, but it was not.
Oh well, movie man, what is your thoughts on the trailer and the ticketing stuff?
Well, I thought it was a very good trailer, and I talked with a lot of friends about this trailer, and I think we're all on the same page when we said this. Kevin Feige and the Russo brothers have said every piece of footage we've seen from TV spots to trailers that's all the first 20 minutes of the film, and we all agree. That scene we saw in the trailer where they finally come to Thanos, I think that's the scene where they first confront him, and then he kicks their asses, kills them all, at least the ones who are left, and then once that's left, travels back in time, that's when the movie kickstarts into the second act, or at least gets going afterwards. And I think that might be true because besides the first 20 minutes, we know nothing about what's going on for the rest of the film. And I'm really glad to going in and not knowing what to expect, which is quite a rarity these days for marketing a film because most trailers tend to show everything. And I finally managed to score a ticket myself. I went to the theater. The tickets were just about sold out. I picked one up just as they were selling out. I got lucky.
Oh, damn it, you bastard. Anyway, like, I'm the one person that still hasn't gotten this ticket yet. Like, I can't do it, like, Friday or Saturday, but I'm looking at Sunday, and it looks, like, completely empty where I am. Like, I'm in the Seattle area, which is just, like, if any of you guys come to Seattle, just use Uber. Don't, like, take a rental car. It's such a pain in the ass because, like, our roads are, like, very narrow, and the hills, it's just, like, it's just, like, a pain in the butt to, like, get around Seattle, and plus, there's not much to see in Seattle other than the Space Needle. Everything else you can just kind of like look up on the internet, but that's pretty much it. It's a beautiful area, but it's just like a smaller city. It's no like LA or New York, but oh well. Anyway, I think we're gonna move on to the third topic. We still got a lot of topics to go on here, and we're gonna talk about Rian Johnson coming back to Star Wars after Knives Out, which does that come out this year, right, guys? Because like this thing like flew under the radar for me. Like I didn't know about this movie until a couple of days ago when like some footage premiered at CinemaCon, which is this like big like movie event where all the movie theater chains and all the companies come together to talk about like the films that they're going to be presenting this year, which I would love to go to someday. I heard it's really easy to get into. Is that true, Trevor? As somebody that's inside the this whole like film journalism world.
Repeat the question. Sorry.
So have you ever been to CinemaCon, Trevor?
I have not. No, I've had people I work with go there, but no.
Oh, cool. Damn, we got a celebrity here, guys. I'm telling you, man. Anyway, yeah. So, does any of you guys want to start this one off, or do you want me to start it off?
You can go and start.
All right. My whole take on this is, I'm happy that he's coming back to Star Wars. I actually did like The Last Jedi. I'm just so tired of this whole like whether Star Wars is ruined by Rian Johnson. Like he just made a film with his own vision. He didn't like destroy Star Wars or anything. Star Wars is still there. I mean, you may not like it, and that's fine, but you don't have to go see the movie. And actually, I'm going to talk about this later in the show. Like my fuel for these like big franchises also like fuels my like anticipation for these smaller films like Knives Out, which is I believe it's a comic adaptation. but I heard Chris Evans is in the film, which I'm pretty
Yep.
excited to hear. I'm actually gonna look up the cast here because I heard it was like really big. It also has a bit of a political message in it, I believe. Knives Out. I know this is really unprofessional, but who cares? It's my show, right? All right, so we got it right here. We got Chris Evans, Daniel Craig, Jamie Lee Curtis, Wakefem Stanfield, who was in Sorry to Bother You, which I thought he did a great job in the film. I wasn't really a big fan of the movie overall, but I thought he did a great job as a leading man. Michael Shannon, wow. Jaden Weber from It. So yeah, it's a pretty good cast. I'm actually looking forward to this. This comes out like in November of 2019, right? Like near end of that, I believe.
On the 27th.
Oh man, that sounds like a movie I would love to go see. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And this also goes back to another idea about geek culture that I've always had like a bit of like a resentment for, is that, and Screen Junkies like played on this as well. Like at some point you have to like especially if like the Zack Snyder things, like why are we still talking about like Zack Snyder's Justice League? Like the film came out like 3 years ago. Like we have like
It was a
whole
year and a
new
half.
content to like worry about now. It's just like why are we still talking about The Last Jedi? Like Star Wars Episode 9 and like The Mandalorian come out like this year, and like we're still like harping whether The Last Jedi was like a good movie or not. It's like just move on, people. Like I do not look forward to like the next 3 years of still talking about like Zack Snyder's like DCEU and like Ryan Johnson's Star Wars when like it's like, come on, like we have like all this other content we can enjoy along with that. I mean, that we can talk about as well. We don't have to just talk about Ryan Johnson, Zack Snyder, or some other of these things. And that's just my opinion, but I'm just getting kind of tired of like people saying, oh, Ryan Johnson ruined Star Wars. Look, it just, if you didn't like the movie, fine, but can we just please move on from it? Let's get excited for some other material from Star Wars and talk about more about that, right? But
I
that's
feel like as soon as the I feel like as soon as the Episode 9 trailer drops, like the Ryan Johnson stuff will be obsolete, because right now in the Star Wars thing, like Ryan Johnson's still the most recent outside of Solo. But as soon as we have something to replace that with, the Ryan Johnson trolls will just kind of fade out, and
yeah,
I'm looking forward to that.
me too. Yeah. Do you got any thoughts, movie man? Movie man? What happened to him? That's weird. Anyway, yeah, I thought it was good. I'm gonna go back my opinions on The Last Jedi. I think it's still a good movie. I mean, there were parts of it that didn't really work all that well, but it it still works overall as a film, in my opinion. And I think some of the directions it takes are pretty bold, especially of Luke Skywalker. I really enjoyed his performance in the film. Movie man, are you still there? Movie man?
Yeah, sorry about that. My mother had to have me go get my supper.
Okay, no worries. It's okay. Yeah, no worries. So yeah, anyway, where was I at here? Oh, yeah, so I thought it was okay. So, whatever. I'm done with The Last Jedi. Like I've told everything I said about it. Now we're ready to move on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, movie man, you got any thoughts on Star Wars, Ryan Johnson, and Knives Out?
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing Knives Out. I love Looper, and last week's podcast I mentioned I love The Last Jedi, so I'm interested in Knives Out, and I'm excited to see Ryan Johnson return to Star Wars. So I think he can make a good movie once again. He's becoming one of my favorite filmmakers this genre.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree. I really liked The Last Jedi. But like I kind of agree that like it was a really good movie, but I don't know if it was the best Star Wars movie, like because it just kind of went away from the structure, which is what I liked, but I understand why people didn't like it. But as a filmmaker, I really do respect him. He's very innovative. He's not afraid to take risks, and that's what I like to see, because a lot of times in Hollywood movies these days, there's just not enough risk taking.
Yeah, I will agree with you on that. Like as much as I do love big blockbuster filmmaking, I feel like some of the films like in the Hollywood, and I'm not saying there aren't like original films out there. There are, just people don't like go see them, and that's kind of the problem, right? But anyway, I kind of wrote a whole blog post about that, but whatever. I still enjoy the big blockbusters, and I think there should be some like more like risk taking with the films. Like I feel like, you know, whatever. And that's one of the things that I'm worried about the Disney mergers, that like 20th Century Fox is just gonna be like just all like repurposing the aliens, like Alien, Planet of the Apes and stuff like that. Like I could care less about Avatar. Like Avatar 2, 3, 4, and 5 are already in production. So like we're getting those no matter what. But you know,
Mhm.
I feel like I'll miss like the creativity of Alien Covenant, and that recent Planet of the Apes trilogy was incredible. Like seriously, it's such a good trilogy. Like, and not a lot of people know about it. Like besides our like small community here,
Yep.
you know, it's a great trilogy. Yeah, I hope people go see it. So anyway, also Trevor, you excited for Knives Out by any chance, or
Yes.
not?
Yeah, no, I definitely intend to go see that when it does come out. Like the cast is great. It's Ryan Johnson.
Yeah.
I know that's going to be a busy time for movies, but I'm definitely going to
Yeah.
carve out some time to go see that.
God, like every month these days is a busy time for movie. I think we have like maybe too much content out there. We have the Netflix films, we have like the Amazon Prime films, we have
Oh,
like
yeah.
big blockbuster films, we have like people saying, "Oh, there's not enough like content out there." It's like, are you kidding me? Like we have like way too much content. It's to me is like just like overflow. Like, you know what I mean? Anyway,
Yeah,
well,
people just aren't looking hard enough, I guess. Like they
yeah,
only look for the big ones. And
yeah. It's just a little frustrating, but anyway, we'll talk about that later. Anyway, we got a sort of like combined story next, talking about Eternals and Black Widow. These are both like the films I believe are coming out next year. Like, don't quote me on that. Like, for all we know, like that Doctor Strange 2 rumor could be legit, which it probably isn't, you know, but who cares? It's
wait,
the internet.
what is?
Yeah. What?
Or what rumor about Doctor Strange 2?
So like there's like this like really bullshit site we got this covered, like saying like Doctor Strange 2 is gonna be the November 5th date for 2020, and I'm like that's really hard to believe considering the fact that like the Internals films have already like starting casting in the Black Widow movie. So I feel like, and also there's only like 2 films related for that slate, which I think Marvel should kind of stick to, because I think 3 films is kind of a much for people, and that's kind of showing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you know, I don't really put a lot of faith in that Doctor Strange rumor here. So it says that Doctor Strange could be replacing Eternals, which I highly
No,
doubt that.
they're definitely moving forward with Eternals, but
Yeah.
it wouldn't surprise me honestly if Doctor Strange 2 did get the November slot for last year, because I mean they had the November slot for the year before, or for not the year before, but for the first movie. And we don't have too many like confirmed releases for next year just yet. We got Eternals, which would probably be either the May or the June or July release. And then we've got Black Widow, which would probably be whichever one's the Eternal ones isn't. And then Doctor Strange would be, honestly, it would make sense if that did fill in the November slot. Like, obviously, there's no confirmation just yet, but it would make sense because I know they have already got Scott Derrickson working on the sequel. And
Yeah. And also Ryan Coogler's on for Black Panther too, right?
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty fun. So anyway, we're gonna get into the casting news here. So like we have like Angelina Jolie. Like the Eternals one is to me is like the most like shocking to me, because it's so like out of left field. Like I haven't heard of like Angelina Jolie for about like 5 years up until now. So this is pretty good. What are they gonna cast this? They're gonna cast like Brad Pitt in the movie, like have like Mr. and Mrs. Swift, like but the Marvel version. That would be hilarious. And they also got the Silicon Valley like guy. I'm trying to think of his name here. I'm not trying to be racist here. I'm gonna type his name here. It's Kumar Najali.
Yep.
He's gonna be in the film. He's from Silicon Valley. The new like Twilight Zone film, The Big Sick, which I thought was pretty good. So yeah, I think he's a great actor, but I don't know how these guys fit into the MCU, but I'm sure Marvel will find a way to like, you know, make them fit in, because that they're pretty good at their casting, you know, with all things sides, even though a lot of people don't like Brie Larson. I still think she was a good character in the film. But, you know, that's just me. So, like, what are your takes on this Trevor and Movie Man?
I'm definitely looking forward to it. I mean, the Eternals aren't like the most well-known characters, like even in the comics, but neither were the Guardians of the Galaxy, and we all kind of were confused when Marvel first announced that movie, and then it actually came out, and we were like, oh, okay, now I see why they did that. And they've built up to it a little bit. Like there was a quick line in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, where Ego is making Quill see like into his mind or whatever, and he asks what he sees, and he just says eternity, which is a reference to the character Eternity, who's like all powerful and then is directly connected to the Eternals. So there have definitely been some clues that they were going to go this way. So it's not a huge surprise, but it's still pretty surprising. But I trust Feige that he knows what he's doing with this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Movie Man, do you got any thoughts on the Eternals casting?
Yeah, absolutely. The other actor, I can't pronounce his name. I'm interested to see him. I haven't heard of this actor, but this is his chance for me to like see him in the spotlight, so I can like see what he's like in a movie. And I'm interested to see Angelina Jolie because I was pretty surprised to see she was in this too. I haven't heard her voice or seen her in anything since the Kung Fu Panda trilogy.
Yeah.
Oh, and also, maybe you could throw Jennifer Aniston in this. Put Brad's ex-wives in there, both of them.
No. Like they should basically do the Mr. and Mrs. Smith of like the Marvel movie. Just have Brad Pitt in there and just like have this like war like we all know like DC's not gonna make that New Gods movie. Like no way. Like Ava DuVernay, as much as I like her as a director, like Wrinkle in Time kind of somewhat ruined her reputation. So like I feel like they're not gonna like move along with that. So I feel like what they should do is just cast Brad Pitt as like Hercules, and like both of them should like go to war with each other. That'd be pretty hilarious. Like so much meta commentary, which I think we have maybe way too much of, but whatever. We're an abundant society, so hey, might as well go all the way. But anyway, we're gonna go on to the next casting news. It's for that Black Widow movie, which I thought they never would do, and here we are. We're talking about the Black Widow movie because Marvel can basically do nothing wrong for the most part. So they got Dave Harbour and I believe like The Favorite actress, which I thought was a good movie as well. I gotta remember these guys' names because like I suck at names.
Rachel Weisz.
Yeah, Rachel Weisz. Yes, there you go. So both of them cast in the film, like their roles are under wraps. I think these are like great castings, man. It's like say what you will about the Marvel films, but like they do really like attract talent like a magnet because they are a really great studio, even though they are owned by Disney. But then again, Disney does a great job of like making like good films. As much as people don't like to believe that, but I'm really excited for these two, and I love Dave Harbour. Like I am very curious to see like what Hellboy is like because I've heard and that he's good. I don't know about the movie quality. I think maybe Trevor knows more about that, but I'm really excited for it. So I'm gonna pass it off to you guys.
Well, I would say that I'm interested to see David Harbour in this movie. I think he's a terrific actor in Stranger Things. I'm very hyped for the third season this summer, and I'm checking. I'm going to check out Hellboy in theaters because I loved the first two by Guillermo del Toro. And even though I wasn't the most optimistic for this reboot, I'll check it out, see how he does. And I think the fact that they got him for this movie is interesting. And I think they were able to get Rachel Weisz for this movie because she has connections to Disney. She did the Oz prequel back in 2013, so there's a connection there. So I'm interested to see her in this film too. And also, I think they got the actors from that new movie, All in the Family, to be in this film too. All in the Family, Fighting with My Family.
Oh, that film. I forgot about that. Came out this year. See, another original film nobody went to go see. Just whatever. Anyway, yeah, continue on.
Anyway, I never thought this Black Widow movie would happen, but it seems like it's got a good cast, and I'm willing to check it out.
Yeah, it also has a really good director too. I believe her name is Kate Shortland. Like I like after like hearing her announcement, I went to go watch a couple of her films, and I absolutely loved her like direction. She's a very like art house filmmaker. Yeah, I think Marvel does a great job of like recruiting indie talent and stuff like that. Like Berlin Syndrome, I thought that was pretty good. Lore, I thought was awesome as well. I haven't seen all of her films, but the stuff that I've seen, I'm like very like impressed with. So yeah, Trevor, it's up to you, man.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for it. I heard like rumors about it for a while. I was honestly like, I love the character Black Widow, but I wasn't so totally optimistic that they would go for it. Which, when they did announce it, I was really surprised and happy. There's still those rumors that the movie is going to be rated R, but I really do not see that happening. The big rumor that I actually got me really intrigued in the film, though, was that the villain might end up being Taskmaster, who Fox acquired a couple years ago, and like at first I was a little bit shocked, but I feel like it works because like Taskmaster, if you know anything about him in the comics, he's one that like his powers is just that he has like literal photographic memory, and he can remember everyone's like movement and which makes him incredible in a fight. And like when I think about like what kind of movie he could be in the MCU, like I don't see many. Like he couldn't go against Hulk because they're just on two different levels. But I feel like going against Black Widow would make like he would be like the ultimate challenge for her, just because that's the kind of fighting that she does. And then if he's always one step ahead, we'll see her pinned against an enemy that we've never really seen her against before. And I think that would be really cool to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think this film is gonna be really good. Another thing I'm actually like really excited for 2020 is that Marvel, like especially in Phase 4, they're gonna sort of like go back to the experimental films. Like I feel like 2020 for like Disney is gonna be like an experimental ground. I feel like this year's gonna be like a slam dunk for them because they got Endgame, Star Wars, Toy Story, The Lion King, and those are all gonna be like massive hits. But I feel like 2020 is going to be experimental all across the board because they have like a lot of like uncertain films like The Eternals and Black Widow, and hell, even the Ghostbusters like 3 isn't like a slam dunk, I don't think, regardless of like if Jason Reitman's attached to it. And I'm looking forward to it, but I'm a little nervous, but we'll see. Also, I believe Morbius is coming out that year. That's pretty good. Like there's a lot of good films coming out that year other than blockbusters, but I'm looking forward to it, you know. Good 2 years, gentlemen. Anyway, we're gonna move on to the last two. We're gonna talk about Francis Ford Coppola is actually ready to like do his new film, Megalopolis. I'm pretty sure you guys have heard of his name.
Yep.
This film, I'm looking forward to it. There's no like cast or announcement date, but you know, any Francis Ford Coppola film, I'm looking forward to. So yeah, you know, I need to know more about it, but we'll see.
I'm a little skeptical on that one just because I don't know, his track record on the outside is really good, but if you like actually know about him, he's got a pretty bad track record. And like some of his earlier projects like The Godfather were really good, but then he kind of let it go to his head. I think the best example is Apocalypse Now, which obviously is like it's one of his best movies, but it had so many issues in production. I can't remember how long they spent on it, but I think it was just under a year, even though they were only supposed to shoot for 3 months. And I just feel like if he's producing it, it would be fine. But as a director lately, he just can't carry much on his own anymore. And
so he's sort of like the Spielbergian effect where he's sort of like the same thing of Ready Player One, where it's just like it's all fluff and no substance in a way. You know what I mean?
I mean, Spielberg still makes good films. Like The Post was phenomenal.
Yeah, I think it was. You know, I thought it was okay. Like I wasn't like outblown by it, way by it, but you know, hey.
Well, and like if like the circumstances that they had to shoot that in were like it was really impressive how quickly they got that done with such good performances. But Coppola, like I'm just looking through his resume here, and he's had like a lot of projects in the past couple decades, but none of them have been really outstanding or great, just because after the Apocalypse Now thing, a lot of people don't want to work with him, and at this point he's just kind of something that a director we look back on rather than one that we want to work with or want to see the movies of. And
yeah, absolutely. I'm giving it a shot. Hey, I'm sorry to get off topic here, but what did you think of Ready Player One, Trevor?
Ready Player One, I really like. I understand that it had its issues. Honestly, it was definitely not up to par with like other Spielberg movies, like Jurassic Park, Jaws, because like the effects were definitely innovative, but the story wasn't. And that's what I liked in the old Spielberg movies like Jurassic Park. Not only were the effects of the dinosaurs incredibly innovative, but the story was unique. And
Yeah.
on Ready Player One felt very to the books. Like, I liked it. It was definitely inspiring, but it's like, it's not one that, like, I don't know, I feel like it could change the industry. And I feel like we put Spielberg up to a good pedestal. Like, if any other director had directed that, we'd be like, yeah, that's great. That's that director's best work. But it's Spielberg, and you definitely expect, you know, a lot more from him. And I still feel like it was a good film and it was a good accomplishment, but it was not his best.
Yeah, absolutely. Movie Man, do you got any thoughts on this?
Yeah, personally, I loved Ready Player One, and I thought it was a great movie that Spielberg made, and I thought it was one of his better films in the last decade. I'm not going to say it's better than Jurassic Park or Jaws or any of his earlier films, because it's not, but I thought it was a great film for him to make in this decade, because I don't think he could make a movie like this in the 80s or 90s, because the technology you would need to create all these Easter eggs and everything would be pretty difficult to do. So the fact that he was able to do it now is pretty well accomplishing, if you ask me.
Yeah. It felt a little uncomfortable watching it because, like, it's so kind of like represents how social media has kind of like affected our lives, and it just felt maybe a little bit too close to home. But I guess that's sort of the message of it. But I enjoyed it. I mean, some of the messaging was maybe a little corny, and it probably had to be. But I still enjoyed it though, and I love Ty Sheridan. I think he's a great thing. Anyway, what did you think of Francis Ford Coppola's new film, Movie Man? Like, what do you think of that?
I didn't see it, so I have no comment.
Oh, have you ever seen the Francis Ford Coppola film, The Godfather, Apocalypse Now? You ever seen those ones?
No, I am a movie person, but I've also kind of lived under a rock half my life, mostly because I wasn't around many people who share my appreciation for pop culture. So half the stuff I watched, the other stuff I missed out, but I'm catching up now.
Jeez, man, you gotta get good, man.
I know.
That's all right. Like, I hate that about movie fans. We're like, oh, you haven't seen this movie? Like, what a loser! Like, whatever. Like those type of people just need to just fall in a pit and die. Anyway, don't actually do that though. That's bad. Anyway, so we're gonna finally move on to the final story, and then we'll go on to the review section, and then the question of the day. So this one got a lot of controversy, and I'm like, why though? So Jordan Peele said that he will not cast a white dude in his lead, and he didn't say he hates white dudes. He just said, hey, I'm making my own films, and for my films, I want to cast diverse characters. That's all he said. He didn't say anything like rude to anybody. He just, whatever. And God bless him for it. Get Out and Us were awesome. They were incredible films. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So, what are your guys' thoughts on this?
Well, I loved Get Out, and I personally loved Us, and I'm really interested to see what else this guy pulls off in the future, beginning with the Twilight Zone TV series and more movies he's got going forward. I even hear he wants to do a Gargoyles live-action film, and I say bring it on.
Yeah. What do you think, Trevor, of this whole situation here?
I mean, obviously, it was like, it's kind of, a controversial thing to say, but I definitely see, I feel like people are taking it out of perspective because, when you're a director, you're telling a story, and he wants to tell this kind of story that he wants to tell, which is fair. And there's a lot of race-based casting, in The Last Samurai, they had Tom Cruise in it, and he was not technically not the correct race, but that was the story that the director wanted to tell, for better or for worse. Jordan Peele wants to tell his story, and obviously in certain contexts, there's the black people have a different perspective on life. Not to say that in any negative way, but there's a it's different for people, and that's the story that Jordan Peele is able to connect to more, and that's the one that he wants to tell, just because frankly we don't have enough of that in the industry. So I'm definitely not one to step on him for telling a good story, or for telling a story that he wants to tell, especially since he's got a fantastic track record of doing so.
Yeah, absolutely. And my whole take on this, and I forgot to mention this before, is I probably mentioned this before on the last podcast, that it's kind of dangerous to get really invested in this so-called culture war, like on both sides, because you're either like you're like kind of like stuck in this like group and you have these assumed identities on you, and like so if somebody says something, you automatic, and this is like true for everything in America, especially in our like system right here where we are very tribalistic creatures. And I feel like a lot of the people, like the world class bullshitters, the gamers and geeks channels, which I know you have to like fend off like on a daily basis, isn't that correct, Trevor?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm
I just
sorry.
kind of ignore them. But, you know, sometimes I go back and I feel like if I've really made people angry, I did a good job.
That's great. That's cool. Yeah. So I feel like all of this like stuff is just like a like understanding. Like, look, just let the guy make the films he wants to make, and if they don't involve white leads, don't go see him. If you don't want to watch it, don't go see it. Like, that's like one of the things that just like drives me freaking nuts about people today is that if they want like original films, you got to go support them, and if you want blockbuster films, you can go support blockbuster films. Like you don't have to like your actions do have like meaning, right? Like it's not like everything you do is meaningless. It's like no, like your actions do have consequences. And look, if you want to see big blockbuster movies, great, but don't come complaining to us if you don't see the original films and there's a lack of originality in Hollywood, right? It's just
Mhm.
like come on, people, like wake the fuck up, right?
Yep.
Anyway, that's just me. Do you guys have any last thoughts on that?
No, not really.
All
Not
right.
really.
Okay. So we're gonna go into the review section. So this is the part where we talk about films that we've seen for the past couple weeks or so. I'm gonna probably start out with two that I absolutely want to talk about. So I did see Shazam. Gotta tell you, absolutely loved it. It's a great film. It's a great spirit film that sort of like re-energized the superhero genre. I think the genre for the past couple months have been kind of in a bit of a slump. Like I did like Captain Marvel. I did like Ant-Man and the Wasp. Actually I didn't really like Ant-Man and the Wasp that much. Venom was just bad. Aquaman was okay. Enter the Spider-Verse was great, but this was the time, like for a while, this is the time right after Infinity War where I feel like I was excited to go back to a superhero film. And not to say Captain Marvel wasn't good or any of the other ones were bad. What like it just this was just a really good movie to me. So yeah, I really did enjoy it. And the other film that I did see, and it kind of really touched upon something that I'm probably gonna get more into, like into the why do I love this stuff section. It's is this film from Brie Larson called Unicorn Store, and I think Brie Larson's a great actress. And her director debut in this film, I think, I mean, it's okay. Like the direction's okay, some of the acting's a little wooden, but I absolutely love the message of the movie of just being yourself, but also, growing up a little bit. Like she doesn't like lose herself, but she sort of, takes on more responsibility and she becomes an adult in her own way. And I think, especially like what we people are, I think that's a pretty good message to hold. Like we can still love this stuff, but you can also be an adult as well, right? That was something I absolutely loved. So for Shazam, I give it a 9.5 out of 10, and Unicorn Store a 8.9 out of 10. Like I absolutely love both these movies. Yeah. You guys got any films?
Yep. Sorry, I gotta sign off in just a couple of minutes, but I'll go real quick.
Sure.
So Shazam, I saw a couple of weeks ago for a pre-screening for work, and I absolutely loved it. I actually just saw it again, which I don't do a lot nowadays. Seeing a movie second time theaters just because I have to go see so many movies. But I loved it. Like I felt like it took the cliches that we typically see in a superhero origin movie and subverted them, and like either for the sake of comedy or just just to tell a really good story. And it was innovative. And it's I just did a ranking for MovieWeb this week to see like of all the DCEU movies, and I put Shazam at the top just because of like how much it had in there. The third act was a little bit too long, but besides that, it blew me away. I also just saw this other movie. I haven't seen Unicorn Store yet. I'm still waiting to
It's
see that.
absolutely wonderful. I would recommend you go see
Yeah.
it.
I saw The Best of Enemies, which is about the desegregation of schools in the 1971. I was definitely looking forward to it. Sam Rockwell was phenomenal in it, but I was just a little bit disappointed because the story was about, let me think of her name.
I can look it up here too.
Taraji P. Henson's character. Ann Atwater, because like she's the one that started the desegregation of schools, and then it was obviously about both of them, but she was the protagonist of it. And so for the first hour, like it followed her and like her choices or whatever, and then Sam Rockwell was just kind of like the supporting character, like he still had choices, but during the last hour, it turned all of the attention to Sam Rockwell, and Ann Atwater had literally nothing for like she had like a couple lines. She made one active choice, but besides that, she was no longer the protagonist, which I kind of felt a little disturbing because they took a movie that was, or the story of a black woman who's being oppressed, who stood up to the system for kids and for everyone, and then they made the main character of the movie a white male Ku Klux Klan leader, which was so that was a little bit disturbing. Like I kind of felt like they just made those decisions just for Oscar debate, just because Sam Rockwell's been phenomenal with the Academy lately, and he was phenomenal in this movie. But he didn't like his character wasn't supposed to be the protagonist, but they made him it just in the edit just so that way it would get the attention because of he's a big name.
Yeah, I will agree with you. Like I think I heard a lot about this movie. Yeah, I think I heard a lot of bad press about it, and I saw the trailer, and it looked okay. I think they kind of used Sam Rockwell as the selling point of it, like sort of like with Vice. Like I actually really enjoyed Vice, but Sam Rock they highlight how like Sam Rockwell is in the movie, like, but he's actually not in the movie all that much. Like he's in it for like a couple of scenes.
Yep,
and that's pretty much it. Yeah. Anyway, so you gotta sign off, Trevor.
Yeah, I gotta sign off. I'm really sorry. Something just came up.
But... No worries. Anyway, have a good one, Trevor.
Thanks for
find
having
you on
me.
ScreenRant.com, man. Always a pleasure, man.
All right. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye.
All right. It's just me and you, movie man.
Great.
All right. So anyway, we're gonna. So, any movies you've seen this week?
Just Captain Marvel in theaters again.
Oh. You didn't see Pet Sematary? I didn't either. You right? You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
My computer is just kind of like freezing here and there. I know this is like sort of unprofessional, but it's a podcast. It doesn't have to be professional. Yeah. Actually, my brother saw Pet Sematary and he absolutely hated it. So, what are your thoughts on Captain Marvel? Actually, because I haven't gotten your opinion on it.
Well, when I saw it the first time, I just liked it. I thought it was a decent, overall decent movie. But when I saw it again in theaters this Friday, I was like, I kind of liked it a little more the second time than I did the first time. In fact, I think I might love this movie now, but I need to watch it a few more times, and I need to see how the character is done in Endgame first before I can know that as a certainty.
Yeah. One of the things about Brie Larson is that I love her message of just being yourself, but to also be more. You know what I mean? Like all of her films, like of this year, have sort of like harped on that message, and I think it's a really good message, especially of our group. Yeah, I think Unicorn Store and Captain Marvel are both like great exceptions to that. People need to just leave Brie Larson alone because all of the harassment on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all that crap is just bullshit to me. They're just movies, guys, right? It's all just entertainment, all right? None of this actually matters in the grand scheme of things, right? Like whatever. Anyway, yeah. Heard anything about Hellboy yet? When the review embargo comes out for that?
I have no idea, but the movie does come out this Friday, so probably this week.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's still it's coming out this week. Damn it! Like, oh god, my checking account's gonna be very low this week, and I got I gotta pay for rent and stuff like that as well. So I'm gonna be struggling for the next couple of weeks. But oh well, life's suffering, as Jordan Peterson says. But anyway, you ready to get into the topic of the day?
Mm-hmm.
Ready? Yeah. So this one's kind of going to be a little more personal, so just think here. So the main question is, why do we love the stuff that we love, especially at our day and age? Like, why do we love Star Wars? Why do we feel a connection to these big franchises? Like, why do we love these films so much? So, do you want to start it, Movie Man?
Sure. I think we're so interconnected with these things because it's so fun to immerse yourself into a world that's so fascinating to watch. Like every time I watch the original Jurassic Park movie, I feel like I'm in Jurassic Park. When I see a Hogwarts castle and the beautiful stuff, how huge the castle is, teaching us magic, I want to go to Hogwarts. When I see Frodo going on a journey to defeat the One Ring, I want to go on the journey with him. I think that's what some of the best movies of all time tend to do. They immerse you into it so much that it makes you want to be there. And I think that's one of the best things about cinema. Things that make you want to actually be there doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think like movies very, very much represent our past, present, and future. And the big blockbuster films, like the main reason why I love them is that I feel like I have a connection to these characters, and I'm gonna kind of go into more of a personal thing here. Is that like all of my peers have always thought I should be embarrassed about liking this stuff. And for a time, like I was going through this like dark phase, like after I graduated high school, like I feel like, oh man, I'm always for liking these things and I shouldn't like these things. But like when I stopped watching them and I just started like, trying to conform to what everybody thought I needed to be and what I wasn't I mean, not to say that like you shouldn't like, compromise a little bit, because life is compromise, right? But I'm just saying, I wasn't myself because, I do love these like big dumb blockbuster films and I'm not afraid to shame that. I'm not afraid to like admit that because I don't know, I just love the Avengers franchise. I love Star Wars. And you know what? I would argue that my love of these like big franchises kind of fueled my love for the smaller stuff as well. Like, dude, like I was talking about this earlier, like the fact that I know who Ryan Johnson is from Star Wars is the reason why I'm excited for Knives Out. Or the fact that like Shane Black like did Iron Man 3 made me excited to go see like his fucking film like The Nice Guys, which is great, and also Predator, which wasn't that great at all. But you to get my point, right? And same with Taika Waititi. Like I'm excited like once Taika Waititi was announced as the filmmaker, I went to go see his smaller independent films, and the same with James Gunn. Like, dude, like I would have never have like made this podcast if it wasn't for the franchise that I love. And I've grown like more. I have like a more well-rounded now. I'm into politics, music, geek stuff, and I got a lot of other interests now. But I still love watching these big dumb franchises and every now and then getting collectible here and there. Like I love them. That's a part of me that I don't think I'm ever gonna change. I mean, like I don't have a time machine or anything, but I just love this stuff and I probably will for life, honestly. So, that's just me and people are gonna say, oh, you man, baby, but I stand by my beliefs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, that's gonna wrap up this episode of Bring On the Geekdom. Hope you guys tune in next week. It's gonna be we're gonna have a full new cast. It's gonna be fun. And yeah, anyways, see you guys next Sunday.
See you guys.
Bye.